Meet my free-to-play to Bond Xtreme Onechunk account, F2 Chunk Flip. I've spent almost 1,000 hours trying to escape free-to-play one chunk at a time. In the last episode, I completed the biggest achievement on the account to date, acquiring Bryophyta's Essence. But there's still plenty of work to be done. I need level 70 crafting, which means I'm going to have to make over 10,000 tiaras. And I will make every single one of them before this episode is over. But first, let's go enjoy the spoils and make ourselves Bryophyta staff. So sit back and enjoy the episode because it's going to be a good one. This little manhole right here, this very inconspicuous hole in the ground, has gotten us into a world of trouble, forcing us to take on free-to-play's toughest boss and most rare drop, kind of. I guess you could say the Shaman Mask, maybe, but considering Bryophyta's fight is locked behind getting a mossy key, I think it's worse, honestly. And we already did it, as you know, but we need to make the staff. One other thing I wanted to do is actually drop this real quick. Why you gotta scare me? Let's put it down. And I just wanted to do that so that I could see the orange, or what is that, yellow stream. Look at that on the ground. 12.3 mil. This is probably the single most valuable item I've ever held. I know that's not saying much for a lot of you guys, but this is a really epic item, and it's cool to see the loot beam in that color. I had it highlighted before, so when I initially got it, it came up purple, but this is yellow or orange because it's such a high value. Really cool to see. Wanted to see that before I turn it into the staff. Although I think the staff will also make the loot beam go that color. I'm not sure what its value is considered these days. I also don't know what exactly we have to do. I'm pretty sure we just go talk to this guy and pay him, but let's see. Can you make me a staff? Make you a staff with what? I found this magical essence when I was out on my adventures. I'd like to attach it to a battle staff, but I'm not sure how to do that myself. Let me see this essence. You show Zaf Bryophyta's Essence. Interesting, very interesting. This would indeed make a very nice staff. I'll attach it to a battle staff for you if you are willing to pay me 50,000 coins. Which we have. How does that sound? Yes, please. You hand over Bryophyta's Essence and 50,000 coins to Zaf. Thank you, here you go. I'm not sure what it does, but it feels pretty magical. Zaf hands you the new staff. Well, that was quick. Thanks. And now, we get to turn around and equip the most epic item in free-to-play. Boom. Look at that thing, and look at us with peak free-to-play magic gear minus the Amulet of Power. I just couldn't get myself to take it off because it's so new and shiny. This looks amazing. Let's see what this staff actually adds here. So we're currently sitting at an attack bonus of plus 12, and that goes up to plus 27, so that is 15 just from the staff itself. I believe that is best in slot free-to-play. It looks a little ridiculous on the character model there, but it looks better when you take it in the scope of the world. Pretty cool looking. I think we'll get some sort of animation here when we charge it. Not animation, but I think the sprite will change a little bit. Has no charges. How do I charge it? Do I just use these only? Your Bryophyta staff now has 1,000 charges. Wow, did not mean to put that many on it, but here we are. And it indeed does change a little bit to look even cooler. A little bit of a green aura around it. And then I think you can just high alch while wielding the staff rather than having the nature runes in your inventory. Definitely wishing I didn't put 1,000 on there. Don't know if you can take them off. There's 1,000 charges, remove, I think, uncharge. Warning, the nature runes used to charge the staff will not be returned. Well then, no, don't do that. Anyway, that might have been a little mistake because I could use all the nature runes I can get for high alching, and now I'm going to have to get fire runes because I can't dual wield staffs, but that's okay. We look awesome, and that was the whole point of this clip. I'm going to spend the rest of my time doing the smithing grind in style, currently sitting at 381,000 smithing XP, level 63, working my way towards level 64. Got a bunch of iron bars in the bank, but I need to go make a lot more, and then I will start hammering out some plate bodies. And I think I'm also going to have to go mine some more iron because currently we are pretty steady on that 50% for the drop rate, and so we're going to run out eventually, but one problem at a time. For now, we look awesome, and we get to continue getting back to work in style. You may have noticed in that last clip that I was wearing the Amulet of Power already, and as some of you may know, that was the whole reason I needed to get level 70 crafting. For some reason, I waited a very long time to actually make the staff, but I wanted that clip to be where this episode starts off, so we're going to backtrack a little bit. The first order of business was to take care of all of the gems we got from Moss Giants and Bryophyta. Like I mentioned, I'll be making a bunch of tiaras as my primary training method, but cutting these gems and turning them into jewelry will provide me with a nice little jump start. Got the first level of the crafting grind coming in after getting the essence. Here is level 47. Members can now do cool stuff, not me, but who cares, we got the essence. Still can hardly believe it. The stoke is at an all-time high from that. And the plan is to cut up all these gems, make them into jewelry, and then see how many tiaras I need to make after that with the silver, because running the silver is going to be kind of a pain, so the less I have to do of it, the better. Unfortunately, this level coming in here, 48, will be the last level I'm able to get from gems, so it's time to start running up and down these steps like a madman and making tiaras. As you can see from the screenshot of the bank tab, I started with a stack of 10,000 even silver ore. I knew it was going to be somewhere around this number based off of my calculations, and this felt like a really good milestone to hit before I got started. First level after the gems, 51 crafting. Got quite a bit of ways to go, but feeling pretty good about it. Since I have most of the silver ore in the bank, it's just a matter of running up and down the steps. Just hit level 60 crafting, missed the pop-up, but that is huge progress. Around 280,000 XP right now. Level 70 is 750,000. So a third of the way there, a little bit over a third of the way there. We are going to need some more silver ore, that is for sure, and that is quite a shame. 62 crafting. Members can make a lot of cool stuff, actually. Not me. We just keep making tiaras like it's our job. I'm not going to get too many of these along the way, but I will take every single one I can get level 58 smithing. Check out that number at the top of your screen there. That is right. Just hit 1 million mining XP. More milestones that I don't want to have. 73 mining. Pretty crazy. Probably a couple, I'd say 60 to 70 more trips, and I should have all the silver I need to finally finish this up And hey, you just saved me a trip to the bank. Thank you very much. Let's go. Just hit level 69 crafting. Members can now make blue dragonhide shield and mixed hide boots, but we don't give a shit about that. We are one level away from hitting 70, and that is the goal. About 11 or 1200 more tiaras to go, and then we can make ourselves the Amulet of Power. A lot of work went into this video, and I have a goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers, so if you wouldn't mind, take a second to check and see if you've already subscribed. If not, please hit the button. I would greatly appreciate it. Welcome to where I've spent too much of my time lately, but we are here to check something off the list. Let's make 2 more silver bars. And then let's make those into tiaras. And with this last one, we finally hit the level we need to create diamond amulets, which will then make us an Amulet of Power once it is enchanted. And I figured also I should make my first mithril bars just to grab some smithing experience. And I will expand on why we need some smithing experience after a quick walk back to the bank. Alright. Let's deposit these first mithril bars in the bank. Pretty cool item to have, if I do say so myself. Got 7 more that I can make as well. And putting these tiaras in, that puts the total count of tiaras for the smithing grind at 12,271. Not a bad little stack. Wonder what that is worth, actually. 1,300,000 worth of tiaras. Pretty interesting. Also wondering what these high alch for. So if I high alch all of these, I would get 60 each, which would only be 700k. Obviously, I have nowhere close to 12,000 nature runes anyway, so it was never going to happen, but here they are. They may eventually get used for rune crafting, and they may eventually get sold. To be determined. Let's also pull out a diamond and amulet mold. Do I even have one? Yeah, I do here. And a gold bar. That way we can make ourselves the diamond amulet. I'm pretty sure I also have balls of wool in here. Unfortunately, we are going to have to take a quick break from the progress so that I can do something I was hoping I would never have to do. This account's inception was way back in March of 2023. I rolled the Varrock Palace chunk in January of 2024, and the date of this clip is September 2024. And after all this time on the account, I haven't had to backlog a single task, but unfortunately the time has come. And I'm sure you're able to guess which one it is. It's going to be the 99 smithing grind. But just because we are backlogging the rune bar as an item source doesn't mean we get off scot-free. Moss Giants and Bryophyta are actually my first source of coal on the account in the form of a 1 out of 128 drop, which means, combined with the mithril ore that I can get from Ice Giants, I actually need to make a mithril plate body, so I will need 68 smithing still. If you're disappointed that I'm backlogging the 99 smithing grind, I can totally understand that. If you're wondering why, it's basically because I only have at most an hour a day to play, and doing the 99 smithing grind with the current setup that I have would take me about 6 years, and you'll learn a little bit more about why it would take so long because of this next clip. Also want to show you in this clip something very interesting that I just learned, and by very interesting, I mean very bad. So I had just about finished up with the silver, so I thought I would come up and make all of these into rings of forging, because I'm going to need those for the rest of the smithing grind. Got to get from 62 to 68 smithing, which is going to take like 2,000-ish iron plate bodies. I have 10,000 iron in the bank, so that takes care of it, assuming you have rings of forging, which I know is a free-to-play item, so I thought, oh, I'll come up here and I'll make myself some rings of forging. Turns out this is a member-only skill. I did not know that. I know that I used level 1 enchant to make an amulet of magic, so I assumed as well that I could make the rings of forging. And I also know 100% that rings of forging are a free-to-play item, but after looking it up on the wiki, turns out that the level 3 enchant spell is actually only available to members, obviously, because you just watched me try, and it just said, hey, you can't do that unless you're a member. There apparently is a dude named Murky Matt in the southeast of the Grand Exchange who can turn these into rings of forging for you for 250 coins each. But as you guys know, I do not have the Grand Exchange yet, which means I don't have rings of forging like I thought I did, which is really shitty. I have been saving up ruby rings and saving up cosmic runes for way too long now, preparing for this day, only to find out that all of it was for nothing because I can't even make rings of forging. I'm really curious now, and we'll have to look into what I can make. Like, can I even... I guess maybe I can only do amulets? Is that the cutoff? Because there's no way the chunk pickers got it wrong that I can't even make an amulet of power. It's going to be pretty funny if... I don't know why I didn't bring the runes, because then we could have found out slightly sooner. But it's going to be pretty funny if I did all this work to make myself a diamond amulet so that I could make the best in slot amulet of power, only to find out that I can't even enchant it. Did I just use that on there? Yes. But there it is, the diamond amulet, one way or the other. So let's go enchant it, or try, and see if we even can. What runes do I need? Earth runes and cosmic. Very easy. But regardless of whether or not I can make this necklace, I cannot make rings of forging. My speech is really good for this clip, so future me is going to have a ball trying to edit this one. Maybe I just won't. But yeah, like I was saying, issue is I don't have rings of forging and I need to get 68 smithing. I am very sad about this. Let's see. Come on, man. Line up for the clip. Get it together. Let's see if I can indeed enchant this. Oh, I like that animation, first of all. And second of all, boom. I can indeed make myself an amulet of power, which means I can get the best in slot upgrade. Look at that. Compared to the strength amulet, -4 strength, obviously, but +6 in each attack area and each defense area, and a prayer bonus. This actually probably would have been slightly better for the whole Moss Giant grind that I just went through, but that's neither here nor there. I used tons of gems from that Moss Giant grind to make getting to 70 crafting a lot easier. Probably cut it down from like 15,000 to 12,000 tiaras, so saved myself having to mine a whole bunch of silver and some more trips up and down these godforsaken stairs. Let's rock it for a while since we worked so hard to make it. And now we have a smithing problem that we need to figure out. So, I am going to start doing some brainstorming. For now, I'm just going to whip up this mithril because it feels like the next best thing to do. Alright, big moments coming in here. Every time I get a lamp, I'm very excited because it's a lot of smithing XP for me, and I just happen to be 313 experience away from a level. So let's slap this on here. That gives us 620 and gets us to level 63. Members can now make Shazian plate bodies ×2 apparently. And we're back on the iron bar grind. It's pretty annoying. My goal was to get to level 63 just making bars and then reevaluate how many I'm going to actually need. Obviously I get a little bit of experience per bar. It's 12.5, and then I only get that experience when I don't fail, which is not going well right now. It's so frustrating coming down here with a full inventory and walking away with like on average 3 to 4 rows of bars. This is going to be a particularly bad inventory, so I'm glad I brought you in to see the pain. But when we get back up to the bank, I'll show you where the stack is at, and with hitting level 63, that means we have 5 levels to go. They get worse as they go. They'll take longer as they go. This means for 64, we need 38,000 more experience. I doubt I even have enough bars in the bank to get myself all the way there. Wow. This is one of the worst inventories that I've had yet. I was really hoping that at some point during this process, I would come away with a completely full inventory of iron bars. I know that the probability is 50-50 per bar, so it's not good odds that that would ever happen, but I thought I was doing enough runs that I would get lucky enough to see it at least once. I am starting to feel like that is not the case. I haven't been paying that much attention and seeing what my like record trip is or anything, but it hasn't been anywhere close. With those, we are at 1,830 bars. So we still got a good bit to go, unfortunately. The run energy, I try to conserve it for when I'm not running with the entire inventory full, but it's almost always at 0. And the best I can do is get like a partial sprint, usually around to like the front door of the castle, before I run out of energy with my bars. But we are going to keep on keeping on, kind of just doing this on the side, pretty AFK. Have to stand in front of the furnace for a long time, and then just click myself up and down the stairs. Super exciting. Can't wait to get to, what is it, 68? No, yep, 68 smithing and make a mithril plate body that is not even best in slot for me. That's going to be awesome. Very interestingly, in the middle of our smithing grind, I did a maze and was given 13 mithril ore as a part of my reward. Very disappointingly, I have 0 coal left in the bank, so at some point I may have to either get lucky and get some coal from a different maze, or maybe I'll go hunt some down from moss giants. But I'm not sure if it's really worth my time. We got another level coming in hot. Level 64 smithing. I can now make the mithril two-handed swords. Good to know. Good to be another level closer to our goal. 922 total level. This account is getting pretty beastly. We have a level coming in hot here as I work on gathering the rest of the iron I need to finish the smithing grind. There it is. level 74 mining. No new milestones. It does come right at the end of a full inventory. I am 15 minutes in and apparently getting 500 iron ore an hour, which is not bad. We still got a good bit of ways to go though. Just got myself a doable clue step from a clue geode. I had to do 2 steps, one in Varrock talking to Charlie the Tramp, one down by the Wizard's Tower, and I was blessed with a casket. This will be casket number 82. Let's see if we can snag another unique. Indeed, we cannot. Here comes another level, the one that was foretold. Level 65, 3 levels to go. Members can now make Shazian gloves. Number 3, nothing to do with me and my free-to-play nonsense. Alright, we got a big moment coming in here. Gotta make my way over to the anvil, and you can probably figure out what is coming. It's a smithing level if I don't mess it up by clicking away. Let's try that again. 125 per iron plate body, feels good. Raking in about 33k an hour. And with this one, we are now level 66. We can now make mithril plate legs, plate skirts, and that puts us just 2 away from the coveted plate body. We are almost done. Not too long later, because I've been grinding away, level 67. Got a screenshot. We can now make Shazian boots. Not for us, but, you know, it's cool. Got a couple more to make before I go get my cell on, but that is 1 level to go. Very ready to be done with this grind. A little bit of work to do before it is all said and done, though. It is finally time to close a chapter, friends. That is right. I have brought you into this clip for a very exciting walk over to Horvik's armor shop. I've been making this walk quite a lot lately. Been doing some superheating along the way. And with that superheat, we're really not going to get a pop-up? Or am I one too early? Did not do good math. With that superheat, we now have level 68 smithing in free-to-play, which is enough to make mithril plate bodies, and we did it all with only the resources available in these chunks. Now I know that may look like a lot, but I can tell you, and with a little bit of research you can find out for yourself, that there is not a whole lot of smithing help going on in these chunks. So it was not the most fun. But the reason we did all that, as you may have guessed, is so that we could get the best in slot mithril plate body. You didn't have to guess. You knew it. And there it is. We also have to make a mithril warhammer, because that is best in slot as far as strength is concerned. And last but not least, a mithril axe, because that is best in slot for skilling. So we got some new gear. These are items that I don't have access to in any other form. So it does always feel good to unlock an item source, although I don't have a great way of getting mithril. I can acquire it, just not at a great rate. Not enough to do any smithing, that's for sure, but I can at least get a hold of some in case I need to make some armor or one of these weapons, or even an axe. Looking at that, it feels real good. That was a tough task. It has taken me quite a long time. I have had to mine way too much iron, had to do way too much superheating, way too much smithing in Lumbridge, which is a terrible place to smith. I mean, I could have saved myself so many times I could have saved myself so much time if I would have had just a good location to smith bars and then to smith the bars into the plate bodies, but this is just how chunk accounts go, and that's kind of the whole point of them. 191 charges left on the staff. I did use quite a bit in that process because I realized I have a good bit of nature runes. Actually going to head over to the bank right now and check those out. I think I have over 1,000 still saved up from Bryophyta and Moss Giants. Meant to make that into a plate body, but who cares? Yeah, 1,800 nature runes, so with the ones in the staff, sitting right around 2,000, which is not bad. I was able to snag these because somebody had oversold like a ridiculous amount of them, so they were like 50 GP each. So just kind of got a few of them to make some money because that's going to be a near future problem for me, I'm guessing. And also, this is the 386k that I stacked throughout this process by making all those iron bars into plate bodies and then selling them straight to Horvik. So yeah, I would just hop worlds, sell the 5 that I just made, run over to the bank, rinse and repeat, and it did get me just enough cash to get over 1 million for the first time on the account. 1,136,160. That is pretty sweet. There are only a few things to wrap up in the chunk, and then I will do something I have not done in almost a year now, and that is roll a chunk. And those few things are to obtain a forestry kit. Actually, that's the last one. Had to look at my list and double check, but yeah, getting a forestry kit is actually the very last thing I have to do. So, gonna go put this mithril axe to good use. I'm not sure why it's just showing up now on the chunk picker as a task, because I'm pretty sure that's all down in Drainer, which I've had for quite a while, and I don't remember backlogging it, but I guess it's possible that I did. Who knows? Not sure why, not sure what a forestry kit is, but I'm gonna go get one, and then we will finally be ready to roll a chunk, and I don't even know what that means at this point, honestly. So, it turns out that you get them for free? Didn't know that's how it worked. It's a pretty cool looking item, honestly. I don't know what it does, or if you can make any use of it in free-to-play, or if I will ever use it. But I had to obtain it for the chunk picker. It was the last thing I needed to do, and it feels very anticlimactic and way too easy, but you are not going to hear me complaining after what I just went through. Scratch that. As it turns out, we are not quite ready to roll yet. We still are very close, but there are a few things I need to wrap up. As you might have noticed in the background, it is actually Halloween. So I need to do the Halloween event because I believe it starts over in Port Sarim, or maybe here in Drainer. And then I guess I can buy the felling axe handle from this guy, even though there's literally nothing I can do with it. So, gonna go do the Halloween event and then grab myself one of these axe handles for no reason, and then we'll be ready. Alright, Halloween event complete. Looking pretty cool, honestly. Now I gotta figure out what this forestry nonsense is all about. I think I need 500 noted oak logs and 1,000 of the bark. So let's see what we see. Just trying to finish up forestry. Need my 1,000 anima infused bark, currently sitting at 416. I've got 2 events so far. I already have the 500 oak logs in the bank. Not really sure why I'm sticking with oak, but I don't know. I just am. And there's a free woodcutting level in the process. 61 members can now do cool stuff. Good for them. I seem to have lost the clip where I actually purchased the felling axe handle, but I promise I did get the 10,000 anima infused bark and 500 noted oak logs to purchase it. There was no way I was letting this small task stop me after what we just got through. I want to get to chunk rolling, and that was the last thing in the way. This chunk has provided me with some absolutely legendary content. It's finally time to move on, and honestly, I forgot what it feels like to roll a chunk. You get so lost in the tasks, and they take so long that you forget that there are other places in the game and that you're going to end up unlocking them. We have made so much progress in this video, and I'm going to save the chunk roll for the beginning of the next one, but I have a little teaser for you before we go.
Oh, yes. Yes.